Hello. यशिका आवाज आ रही?
Yes, I can hear you.
तुम्हारी नहीं आ रही।
सर वॉल्यूम लो है आपका बहुत।
Am I audible, guys?
का पीस
Am I audible?
आपका बराबर है, सर का बहुत लो है।
So we will start. Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to today's webinar on navigating SEBI's new policy on market rumors, its implication and compliance strategies. I'm Yashika Dharamshi. I work with MMJC as an associate director. I'm thrilled to see so many of you here today. Your presence is greatly appreciated. We all met on exact 4 months back on 20th January 2024 for discussing the same topic, the most talked amendment. And here we are again on 20th May to throw more light on the same. Before we begin, let me give you a quick overview how today's webinar will proceed. We will start with our very own Makarand sir's key insights on the topic, and then Saurabh sir will provide a brief presentation over the same, which will last till 3:35, 3:40. Following the presentation, we will have a Q&A session. Please feel free to submit your questions via the chat function at any time during the webinar or raise your hands after the presentation. We will address as many as possible in the time allocated. The combined experience and deep understanding of the topic will undoubtedly make for an enlightening and engaging session. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed speakers for today. It is my pleasure to introduce the stalwart of CS fraternity, who always brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise in his talks. Makarand sir is a practicing company secretary having experience of more than 22 years. He is the founder partner of MMJC. He has been instrumental in creating MMJC mobile app on the bare act of the Companies Act and LODR. The recent version of MMJC mobile app has interlinkage of Act with SEBI LODR regulations. He is a member of expert group on SSB of ICSI, and he has been convener to ISSI SSB publications, guidance notes on.
Rashika,
Yes, sir.
you may skip this.
Okay, sir. And so, sir, I would then request you to, throw some light and give insights on the topic of rumor verification.
Yeah, today's speaker is Saurabh, by the way, but just to give a heads up on the subject, on 18th May 24, official gazetted copy, which is yet not available on SEBI to best of my knowledge. You can check if it is now been made available, but it started circulating everywhere that LODR, and it is available on official gazette. Amendment in LODR, which incorporated 4 changes which Ease of Doing Business Committee had suggested, and one more was with respect to rumor verification. And the journey which started of threshold-based parameters for materiality on somewhere in July 2023, when this profitability-based, turnover-based, and net worth-based threshold parameters were set for the company to determine what is materiality. Earlier definition of materiality was very, very subjective, except that para A and para B. Para A was very specific, para B was indicative. But how do you ascertain in para B? SEBI came out with a threshold-based criteria. Those thresholds were inward-looking, in the sense, I look at the transaction value versus my net worth, versus my profit, versus my turnover, and then determine materiality. And now SEBI has come out based on Industry Standards Forum's recommendation with respect to parameter-based how market reacts. Actually, what is the best recourse is to look at how market reacts. And if market is reacting to a particular news, then irrespective of whether we consider it as material or not, with whatever formula we apply, denominator, numerator, whatever formula we apply, but if there is a news in the mainstream media, then obviously companies will have to consider it as material information. We'll have to respond to that report, is the ask which has been prescribed, and it is effective from what date, Saurabh?
1st June, sir.
1st June. So we hardly have any time, and before that, stock exchange will release their formula, and after that, or alongside that, Industry Standard Forum also may come out with some more guidance. That is not prescribed in the official document, but probably this is what we understand, that Industry Standard Forum may come out with some guidance with respect to either mainstream or what is impending and what is specific. These are some keywords on which industry has been toiling and discussing. How do you determine what is impending? How do you determine what is specific? On that, probably we'll see some guidance. Because of this threshold, it will bring definitely ease for the compliance professionals. Obviously, there will be a lot of additional work which will be involved, and a lot of processes will have to be set. Some responsibilities will have to be fixed, so that we reciprocate to we first of all identify any rumor around, evaluate its materiality, and then report to stock exchange So they have to definitely lay down some processes, and hardly any time left. So today is a holiday for majority of the people, and balance 3-4 days of this week and maybe 3 days, 4 days of next week, and thereafter this regulation will become effective. Because of this threshold base, it will bring a lot of ease in terms of ascertaining, but it will also bring a lot of complication in terms of materiality, in terms of UPSI. For example, if I have not considered some information as material, but now it is price has moved, so how do I treat it? How do I treat retrospectively as UPSI, or should I not treat it as UPSI? All such questions will be there in the minds of audience. So Saurabh's PPT will be definitely self-explanatory, but we will be happy to see any questions are there at the end. Over to you, Saurabh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your insightful perspectives as usual. And I will attempt to share our perspectives with respect to these recent changes. Am I audible clearly, guys? And my screen is visible? Thank you. So to begin with, thank you, Yashika, and thank you, Makarand sir, for all this presentation is thanks to our R&D team, first of all, who have been very helpful, have been regularly looking into all small developments which have been happening, and who have been reading, decoding, and then disseminating all the insights periodically. Because of them, this webinar is possible in such short time. And thank you, Makarand sir and Yashika, for making this happen for us. Guys, rumor verification, I think so this is the most sensitive item today, as on day, apart from the elections which is going on in our lives. So let's deep dive this subject and understand the pros and cons and things to be taken care of while we are complying with these provisions. This first, very simple, the changes which has happened, what was there earlier and what it is now. It's very important to before we get deeper into what has happened, let's also see what was the past and what are the things what happened. So up till now, it was optional in nature, number one. And what we were supposed to do is that whichever rumor was there, which was impending, specific, and which was pertaining to material event, which was Reg 30 item, we had to either clarify, deny, or verify within 24 hours when it was reported in public domain. All right. The earlier version was earlier, and the current version also talks something about mainstream media, which is yet to be clarified in the sense that how the doability of which is yet to be clarified. And I think so that's where we will all look upon ISF to come out with some explanation. But predominantly this was fairly simple, but in the sense it was very cumbersome as well. The practical aspect of it, which even Makarand sir highlighted, that whether it impacted price of the script or not, still we were supposed to clarify, and many a times people used to misuse it. We also saw some transactions getting cancelled because of such mischiefs, and therefore there was a need to revisit this to shorten down our burden as well, and to make more meaning out of it. So this is what they have brought in. Simple things first. It is applicable from 1st June for top 100 companies, and with effect from 1st December for top 250 companies. Again, second most simple stuff is that it is 24 hours from the market material price movement. So earlier the version was that it was 24 hours from the moment it was in public domain. We had to trace it, we had to analyze it, and then we had to report it. We had to give either a confirmation, denial, or clarification. But now, thanks to the sensitivity of the subject, awareness of the subject, it is 24 hours from the material price movement. We all are awaiting clarification circulars from stock exchanges. The consultation paper had two or three perspectives towards material price movement. One was for the script itself, and second was less than or greater than -1 and 1%. So we are yet to receive those circulars from stock exchanges, but predominantly the disclosure has to be made from the moment there is a significant price movement, or in the legal terminology, material price movement. The most important stuff, or the most important change in our life with respect to this particular regulation is the reference, or the removal of reference of regulation 30 from this particular sub-regulation 11. What is asked upon, what this now the new version of this regulation aspects is that if there is any rumor in the market, and if that rumor, or if there is parallelly a significant price movement, irrespective whether that particular event or information is falling part of regulation 30 or not, the company in concern will have to verify, either confirm, verify, or deny that particular rumor. So this is the biggest change. In the sense, there can be a lot of scenarios which we will see in the upcoming slide. There is another big change which they have brought in is when they have casted responsibility on the promoters, directors, KMP and SMP to help the compliance officers to promptly or within 24 hours to clarify this particular rumor. So if there is any particular rumor which is pertaining to promoter, or if there is certain things, certain information which either my director, KMP, SMP, or promoter possesses, they are bound, if upon compliance officer writing to them, they are bound to respond promptly in order to ensure compliance with this particular law, which also in a way means that they also have to swiftly respond. Otherwise, they also would be in a position that they will be obligated, or they would have to comply with the provisions of LODR. Otherwise, they will fall on the wrong side of the law. So a lot of support to the compliance officers have been given by adding this particular clause. Now let's deep dive. This was a brief outline of the changes. The biggest element, as we have been talking about, is the removal of reference of regulation 30, and which means that any event or information has to be disclosed. Any event of information which forms part of the rumor, which doesn't fall under that regulation 30 schedule 3 list, also might have to be clarified if there is a material price movement. Now, for a moment, if we all draw our attention to regulation 30 sub-regulation 4 clause B, which is predominantly for para B items, there are certain criteria which is given, basis which the materiality has to be determined. Therefore, a question would come into a mind that suppose if there is any particular event or information which is forming part of para B, or even if it is not forming part of para B, para A, C, or D for that matter, but because there is a material price movement, we are obligated to disclose. We are obligated to confirm, verify, or clarify. There might be a question which would come from the regulators, is I believe that, and the burden of proof will be on the companies to clarify as to why they didn't propose that this particular information or event was entailing significant market reaction or not. In other words, which it would mean that whenever we are ruling out any particular item from para A, para B, or from regulation 30 in entirety, we will have to be very, very careful to understand and appreciate that tomorrow, if it comes in the form of a rumor, then we might have to disclose, and we might also have to justify as to why it was not classified as material event or information at the first place. This is the very sensitive part of it. This is post-mortem part of it, and therefore very proactively companies will have to solidify or upgrade their existing systems, wherein a lot of qualitative elements have to be brought in while determining what is material, what is not material. There are a few examples which we thought that which might help. Say for example, say if I'm in a FMCG company, or if I'm a large conglomerate and one of my companies come out with a lot of product launches day in day out, and I believe based on my analysis, it is not falling under the quantitative threshold of 2 to 5%, and therefore I may not disclose it under Reg 30. Somehow, if that information goes out in public, all right, and if the market reacts, then definitely we would have to be bound to be, by this the new version of this regulation, we will be bound to disclose. We will have to clarify, confirm or deny, and probably we will also have to give clarification as to what is the absolute amount of value which we are looking upon, basically giving a justification why it was not material at the first place. Similarly, third-party allegation whistleblowers, which is there, which may not ideally form under para A, para B. Those informations events, if that info is also creating a significant market reaction, we will have to give confirmation, denial, or verify for that matter, which usually we have observed in lately, that companies have been clarifying from as a part of a good governance and to maintain investor relations. The tricky part would be a third example, wherein if I have just made an announcement and and the market is still digesting that particular announcement, and there is a rumor the subsequent date basis, and at the same point in time there is a material price movement as well. Question would come that whether I need to disclose at that point in time about that rumor, knowing the fact that the announcement is just made and it is just an impact of that earlier announcement. The answer would be yes. We will have to assume that that particular rumor is creating a price movement and material price movement, and we will have to give clarification for that matter. Therefore, guys, given the complexity involved, it will be very important to have a right process right within the company to firstly identify the rumor, then probably screen that particular rumor from a context that whether it fits under 30 sub regulation 11 or not. Then once we have crossed stage 2, then we get into the legality. We do a lot of engagement with stakeholders, see whether it is seek their inputs, engage with external stakeholders, and enroll them that this is the likely clarification which we are giving, and then at stage 5 we disclose. Now this becomes a very important element, because we have also observed that some companies want to initiate with stage 2. Basically, they have thought that they would want to first see whether there is a material price movement or not, and only after that, if there is a material price movement, then they will see whether there is a rumor revolving around it. We submit, or we are afraid that probably we might not have enough time because our 24-hour sticker will start. Therefore, our submission is that, and which is already prevalent in many companies, is that our IR team will constantly screen the news which are getting reported on various mainstream media or media platforms. Basis that tracking, there can be a report which can be shared with the compliance team every day, then the compliance team can probably look into the price movements and determine whether there is a material price movement or not. Once that particular aspect is established, then we screen it out. Regulation 30 event is no longer a factor. Therefore, any event or information would come into play. We have to definitely see whether it is specific or general. If it is very generic in nature, for example, we will see certain examples, but on an immediate, if there's news that a particular industry is getting screened through by GST authorities, then whether I need to, and there is a price movement in my particular company, then do I need to disclose or do I need to clarify that rumor? Need not be, because that would fall under the general definition. Impending is another critical terminology which has been used, which we all have to be very careful about. Certain companies would wish to give a time periodicity to it, say 7 days, 15 days before the announcement is to be made. Our submission is that probably that may not really work upon, given the objective of the regulator is, and therefore we might look into a different definition wherein we work, the basis of that definition can be a degree of certainty. So when the information or event becomes more and more certain, then it is nearing the absolution, and anything which has reached to a reasonable certainty, if later on it comes to public domain, then we might not be in a position to refrain ourselves from giving a rumor clarification. Therefore, these terminologies are very critical. We have one slide wherein we are trying to give some indicative definitions for this. Once we have cleaned this out, once we have cleared this stage, then we go into the third stage. We can look upon it. We can seek legal advice. We can speak with CFO, MD, CEO, see whether how this has to be clarified. If there is a specific department which is involved, we might have to enroll them, have a lot of dialogues with them. There would be external stakeholders. It can be regulators, it can be institutional investors, it can be retail investors. We might also have to strategize about the countermeasures which has to be taken, how to take care of the investors, how to mitigate the risk. All those aspects have to be thought through. So that would become stage 4. Once we have reasonable confidence on stage 4, then we go into stage 5. But in absolution, all stages has to be completed within 24 hours of the material price movement. In between, if we form part of a particular group, or if there is any information which is quoted for your company, but if pertains to promoter or a director for that matter, then we will have to seek clarification from them. The timeline then slightly changes a bit, in the sense that 24 hours from the material price movement then gets changed to promptly from the response of the promoter, director, KMP, SMP. But naturally, it has to be within 24 hours from the material price movement. So that aspect has to be taken care of. This is when and who. This is again very important, in the sense that who will be scrutinizing the rumors. So our submission is during the day, the rumors will be scrutinized by IR team, or probably compliance team can also take up, but definitely IR team is best placed. Then once this is through, then screen the price movement. So for us, as say if I am ACC, I would screen my own price. What would be the movement throughout the day? Has there been a significant variation? What variation, what exact quantum of variation, that we are awaiting stock exchange clarification. But once that price movement of my script is understood, my 50% of the work would be done. I would have reasonable clarity on whether I would have to disclose, or whether I will be obligated to disclose or not. Second filter would be the next day, 9:30 a.m., wherein we will get the performance benchmark index. at that point in time will be the finalization. There will be absolute certainty that we will have to either clarify or not clarify as per the law. But honestly, this is just paper. We would all know at this particular stage only if there is any rumor which is going out and there is a significant rise in the volume or significant rise variation in the price, we would know that we would have to end up disclosing or clarifying on the subsequent day. So technically, practically, we would start a work from this stage itself. This I think so I can skip. These are some examples of certain events or informations which were getting reported in the media without it getting officially announced by the company. ABC Finance Company in talks to sell home finance unit for so and so rupees. So this is very, very specific information. The name of the company is there. The value is very clearly specified. So definitely we would be obligated to disclose. We would have XYZ group in talks to raise up to so and so $1 billion to repay overseas bondholders. Now the key element here is the group. There is a language which is given. So if you have a promoter group entity, if it talks about a promoter brand, then we will have to seek clarification from them. If it is about you itself, in the sense your group only, if this news is about your group itself, then we will have to definitely disclose. It will become more specific. If it is about promoter group, then we will have to seek clarification and then we will have to respond. PQR group entering into FMCG market, again very, very generic in nature, nothing specific. This is Amber in the sense that we will have to codify our policy very, very clearly as to whether this will fall under specific or not. These are some negative examples. GST, I have already given an example. Suppose there is a anti-dumping duty which is imposed on generically all stainless steel products. But then this becomes a generic news if it is not specifically to your company and to your product only. If it is generally for everyone, then this news doesn't warrant a clarification. What this means is that both the elements have to be in coexistence, in the sense rumor also has to be in coexistence, as well as material privacy, specific impending information also has to be in coexistence with material price movement. So if there is just price movement and there is no rumor, we will not be able, we will have nothing to clarify about. And if there is a rumor but no material price movement, then we need not disclose. This is the element of definition which we wanted to highlight. This is something which can be adopted or we would suggest. Some things which are directly specifically related to the company and or any of its unlisted subsidiaries, this entails to specific. The information circulated has specific aspects, details of the transaction, that is again specific. If there is nothing specific mentioned, then we will say that this is not specific and we would not warrant a disclosure. On the impending aspect, this is very, very important. On the impending aspect, the question is that should we look only back for 7 days, 15 days, or should we look back from the day an MOU is signed, or probably when we have first shook their hands. So our submission is that the moment, and this is also a definition of UPSI germination, which is SEBI has prescribed, wherein the degree of certainty, they talk about the degree of certainty that this transaction may go to happen rather than not happening. So that is something which we can pick up. And last but not the least, if the information is entirely false, then we will have to clarify. There we cannot come in, this particular aspect cannot come into play. So anything, I think so we are through. These are certain things which we can keep in mind, in the sense that any confirmation, if we are providing any confirmation, positive confirmation, then we should think that why Regulation 30 was not, why a disclosure under Reg 30 was not yet made, or even it was supposed to be made, then still we are at a better shape. But if the transaction has already happened, then why it was not yet disclosed? Reasons for that, we also discussed about the significant market reaction aspect. Whether all details are to be given or not, very important that if the information is already out and it is creating a market reaction, which means that there are certain basic elements which a market of information which market would expect, which is nothing but that minimum information circular which under which regulation 30 has been prescribed. So we should resort to that and we should give these details. Confirmation on the material update in future is concrete. This is again very important. Material updates have to be provided to the market as and when there are milestone developments. Verification, if it is on an exploratory stage or we are still in work in progress, it is not reached to its finality, then we can give the current stage, at what stage it is. We can write that probably you can expect more developments going forward. All right. And definitely we will need a confirmation from third party before disclosing. And denial is straight denial. There are a lot of examples, lot of confirmations, verifications, denials, which are readily available on stock exchange portal. In fact, there is web page dedicated for this kind of clarifications by stock exchange, where all of us can really study all of that and customize it based the changes which has come. Before we move on to the question and answer, would you like to share anything, Makarand sir?
Yes, Saurabh, very good PPT.
Hmm.
I was in the last slide that
Hmm.
confirm or deny and then verify before that. Actually, if I have to deny, I am this happy person as a compliance officer because very good. This clarify, verify is a number, and in fact, other than deny, everything is the number because obviously it has not reached to the category of credible and concrete either, or as per threshold we had not considered it, and therefore we had not disclosed. And therefore, if we are not going to deny, then it requires definitely a lot of internal deliberation. Saurabh in his talk has highlighted about the importance of framework with respect to all these processes. I think one thing which is coming up very clearly, of course, we'll have to wait for if there is a guidance coming from ISF on impending and specific. But otherwise, and even then, probably, because ISF may provide some guidance with respect to what is the process which you may follow. But company to company, again, you may have to have your own framework. And whenever you are not in a denial, but in other zone, then your documentation, your framework has to support. Then there has to be documentation about what is the view which you are taking and why you are taking that view with a proper rationale and proper authorization. It is desired that company may authorize someone to decide about whenever there are such correspondence to be exchanged with the stock exchange, who is authorized. Like under regulation 35, right? There is a requirement that materiality disclosure, there has to be an officer who is authorized, or under PIT, there is an officer who is authorized. Similarly, with respect to rumor verification, particularly when you are not considered it as a material, or and obviously may not have considered it as the price movement, price sensitive, but the price has moved. How do you deal with it? That requires a framework, documentation, rationale, which one has to be careful. You cannot wait for a regulator to ask you and then you start writing down as to what is your argument with respect to why you could not disclose. One important point which I also gathered from this conversation and from this amendment is that there is an urgent requirement of educating your promoter KMP SMB, particularly if you are a promoter-driven organization and if you are working in a conglomerate, then promoters will have to be sensitized that this is a duty casted on me to ask you and you to respond and I to disclose promptly. So all these three are duty casted. So I cannot say that, oh, I don't know. हमें तो पता है नहीं. I don't know anything. That you cannot be. If you are not aware, then you have to check with who can be aware about such news getting discussed in the media. So this awareness has to be there, very important. This is a vacation period, and many of you may be on vacation or maybe going on vacation, but still we have to meet 1st June deadline, irrespective. There was one thing, Saurabh, before we go to question answer.
Yeah.
Many times people ask that whether every rumor has to be verified, and many people still ask that whether every price movement I have to respond. So again, to clarify to entire audience that first of all, if is talking about something about our company, about our script, and if there is a price movement, that and is very important, and if there is a material or significant price movement. At one place, they have used the word material, at another place, they have used the word significant. For example, 34B uses the word significant, and 3011 uses the word material. But I think without going into the interpretation, it is one and the same thing. 3011 proviso is actually manifesting 34B. Right, Saurabh? If I
True. Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
In
these
fact,
were
we have had experience in past wherein the companies who have not disclosed a particular event, basis thorough analysis that this is not material as per that 2 to 5%. Regulator has written back to them seeking clarity by specifying each line item 34A, B, C, D, even sub-regulation 12 for that matter. And asking that how have you taken a decision for each of this line item? You explain. So the burden of proof going forward would be on companies.
absolutely. And after deliberation, for example, the framework and documentation and rationale, if the benefit of doubt is coming to the company, we should not be giving benefit of doubt to the promoter or any stakeholder. If anybody wants to take that benefit of doubt, that my framework doesn't allow. You cannot be giving benefit of doubt, because if you see the orders of SEBI on insider trading or under Regulation 30, I don't think they always believe that a regulator would believe that since there is a conflict of interest, therefore you should be whiter than white. And no benefit of doubt can be given to any insider. So that care also a compliance officer might have to take. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I think so. We have some questions. First question is from Himanshi Madan. She has written that if there is a market rumor regarding company, if there is a market rumor regarding company is coming with a bonus issue, this is being discussed internally, and the material price movement takes place. Is it required to be clarified, especially if the same is not approved by the board yet?
Actually, Saurabh, this is what is the discussion, that the event is in making, it's in cooking, it's in the maturity process. But somebody probably has leaked this, and this media is talking about it. So you will have to clarify that yes, there is a discussion, but no. We are in the evaluation process, maybe, because a lot of other parameters may be evaluated, and a formal call will be taken by the board at its meeting, and a notice and all will be given to you in the course of time. But you will have to respond. You will have to respond. And one more point: this entire framework of Regulation 30 and PIT, that has to be read together. And therefore, wherever we are responding to rumor and say that this is a rumor, verified that yes, it is correct, then it is all the more important that company should also start an inquiry about whether there is a leak of UPSI, and then report the outcome to the board. Board means SEBI. So that also one has to keep in mind. Particularly when this is about bonus issue, definitely it would be material and price sensitive both.
Correct.
Yeah.
Second question, I think so, relatively simple. If the company is not amongst top 100 on March 31st, 2024, is verification of rumors applicable on it?
We were discussing about it. You may respond, sir.
Yes, so definitely legally it is not compulsory, but naturally it becomes a responsibility because there is a material price movement. We might not be able to sit on a back seat, and we would want to clarify to the market that what is the true position. But definitely legally not obliged.
But whatever practice you would start, you should be consistent. That
True.
every company, because selectively when respond to some rumor and not respond to other, that kind of thing one should avoid.
Correct.
Correct.
Srinivasan ji case has written the provision starts with the material price movement. I think so. What he would want to mean is that should we start complying with this law from the time there is a material price movement, or should we start tracking the rumors first?
You answered that, but maybe for convenience of everyone, you can repeat again. Maybe.
Yes. So, sir, once there is a material price movement, and so once the material price movement even gets triggered, the 24-hour ticker starts. So if we start searching for any rumor, if there has been any rumor in the past, and so we will waste certain amount of time, which we could have otherwise saved. So our submission is that we would already have IR teams. Top 100 companies do have IR teams, is what we understand. And they do track all this information, what is spoken about the company that has been done, and those reports goes to the CXOs. We can have a copy of that rumor with us. We can screen them so that either on the same day or the next day, when we are clear that the material price movement has taken place, we don't need to start from scratch, and we can save that amount of time. So definitely the compliance will not get triggered. As I said, that both has to coexist, material price movement as well as rumor. If either of them are not there, then no disclosure or no clarification required.
Absolutely. Generally, it starts with rumor and then the price movement. But even if there is a price movement, then before concluding that there is nothing to do, do cross-check whether there is some news which you have missed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then there is an anonymous attendee. Please clarify what is material price movement. So can I take this up?
Please.
Yeah. So material price movement, we are awaiting circulars to be issued from stock exchanges. That is what even the current provision says. However, if we want to get a basic idea, we can resort to the consultation paper. There we have certain tables, Annexure B. You can refer to Annexure B. There they have given certain formulas as to, depending on the price of the company, depending on the situation of the benchmark index, situation of the movement of the benchmark index, what are the criteria, what is the criteria that is prescribed over there. We can resort to that. Otherwise, we can wait for stock exchange. I'm sure they should be coming out with circulars very soon.
Correct.
Then we have, how do we map the change of price with the market rumor? For example, on any given day, there could be a few news about the company which are not material and on same day, a prominent brokerage house has released a report on the company. How does one conclude the reason for change in share price?
This is a common dilemma which we all may encounter. But like I said, that if there is a price movement, and even if there is a news about something in media which you are not considered as material, then you cannot give benefit of doubt. Today morning, me and Saurabh were discussing that as soon as maybe the election results are out or about to get result, there may be a major price movement, and it will be on 4th June. But that is after 1st June. But if during that period something is getting discussed about your company, it is obviously you have to comply. What do you say, sir?
Absolutely, sir. In fact, there are certain reports, research reports also, which are available. Some analysts, some brokerage house, they give some reports. We also had some incidences in recent past wherein a particular foreign fund house, they also came out with report, but that was in a complete different context. But still, given that particular day, whatever has been reported in the mainstream media. We cannot be selective. In fact, this is a particular element which was specified in the consultation paper as well. They have been explicit about it. They have acknowledged that we may not directly able to correlate which rumor is creating actual price movement, but given that day, whatever is the rumor, we will have to clarify. What can be helpful is to understand and appreciate what is the rumor at the first place, number one, and then go deeper whether it is impending, it is specific or not. By those stages or by those filtrations, we can remove certain news items. That's how we can approach. We have Srinivasan ji. He's written post disclosure of an information event, the price will jump. Then what is required to be disclosed or informed?
We discussed about this, Srinivasan ji, that
Hmm.
price movement and some rumor, that both element has to be there. So first part, the rumor part was there earlier, and to which you responded. Now there is no other news, but the price has moved. So you need not respond. You need not respond. But if there is further, because sometimes some news has follow on and follow on news keep coming. So if your disclosure is not complete, there are two scenarios. One is that event has already occurred. Then you have full information about the event. Then you should give complete disclosure like in Regulation 30, whatever format is prescribed, the full details, so that it is self-explanatory. But if you are responding to a situation, in a situation where you are working on some deal, but it is not yet credible and concrete, then you will respond, but not with full detail, because those are not concrete. And in that situation, there can be a situation, there can be an event where you have already clarified, but again, there is somebody talking about something more about that same event. We'll still clarify. We'll have to keep responding. If they come out with some more data which are not disclosed, we'll have to keep responding.
We have 5 minutes more, and we have probably 6 questions here.
Maybe some price movement related questions, we'll have to wait for stock exchange to clarify. So if
Correct.
there is anything other than that, we can look at.
Correct. Hi, how will company secretary will ensure compliance? Will there be any process you suggested? So we only have to craft our own processes. So two aspects. One is we have to craft our own process, SOPs. Enroll everyone, as Makarand sir said, that enroll everyone, engage with everyone. That this is the recent change, and wherein all of us are responsible to cater to all rumors. Number one. Number two, there is something which might come from ISF also, wherein they might help us to decode or define certain terminologies, which can also be used for setting up the processes. What is the use of clarification? I am referring to what is the use of clarification once the price moved and someone made the profits?
It is for general public that if the event has already occurred, then you have to give full details. So, and those were authentic details coming from the company. And obviously, company will have to find out if there is a leak from company side, and after that inquiry report will have to be submitted to SEBI. And those who have leaked, obviously, they will be penalized. So there is a checks and balance already. It takes care of any speculative market reaction, if so that there is official information coming from the company. And the another regulation takes care of the leak of UPS.
True.
Definitely makes sense. Yeah.
Next question is from Pratik ji. If there is a significant price movement on the basis of a brokerage report, expecting an increase or decrease in revenue profitability in the future, is the company required to clarify?
If media carries this, then you will have to respond. But the response will not be specific. Unless you have some specific details about it. And therefore, many companies who come out with monthly turnover and inventory details. For example, some developers come out where every month what is the inventory sold, or automobile companies or insurance companies. They come out with every month some details, and that kind of practice may increase going forward. There was one recent case with respect to what is these flash figures which are disclosed internally, whether those are considered as UPS or not. Curious participant may refer to that case for further clarity on this.
If market rumor takes place today and material price movement is not on the same day or very next day, in such case, any action needed to be taken by the company? I think so. We have already responded. Both have to coexist. I will go ahead. Do you foresee a lot of disclosures which are not relevant, as many companies will clarify on market rumors due to change in share price, similar to what happened with disclosure of fines?
This may happen. I agree. This may happen. But at least compliance officers' work will increase, but at least they would know whether they are on the right side of the law or not.
Yeah. If there is rumor in market after closing of exchange on Friday,
and there may be, Saurabh, there may be some information tools which will get developed. This is an opportunity because of Regulation 30 and rumor verification type of requirements. There is a floodgate of information coming to public domain.
Correct.
This can be an opportunity for someone to look at this data and every day come out with something very, very important for collectively. And research analyst role is going to go up. They may fetch higher price, more demand for their services.
True.
Yeah.
Last three questions, sir. We will quickly wrap up.
Yeah.
If there is rumor in market after closing of exchange on Friday, and the next material price movement will be on Monday, the new timeline for company to verify, clarify, deny will be 24 hours from the market closing on Monday. This we will have to, definitely we will have to see the prices of Monday, but we will await for the circular to be issued from stock exchanges for specificity. If market rumor takes place today and material price movement is not on same day or when, but it is happening. So
we discussed this.
We have done this. Last question from Siddharthji. There are two companies in a competitive bid to acquire one company. Let's say one of the companies intentionally have some information published about the other company in the media. The process is ongoing. Nothing has been finalized. In such a case, giving information on non-creditable position could lead to an allegation of providing misinformation under the unfair trade practice. How should this be managed?
This is a matter of specific advice, Siddharth. Not on a webinar, on a lighter note, but we have to take care that we don't budge either side. And we have to balance that it doesn't impact the deal also.
I think so. We are through. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ashika. And thanks all participants for attending this at such a short notice. And thanks to our R&D team for helping us with all supporting data on weekend.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. We would like to extend a sincere thank you to our distinct speakers. Your expertise and in-depth knowledge have provided us with invaluable insights. As we have come to close of this insightful webinar, I want to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to all of you for your participation and engagement. Due to time paucity, we could not answer all the queries and concerns. Please feel free to connect us for any queries or concerns. Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.